What was Prince William so determined to keep hidden about Meghan Markle's mother, Doria Ragland? From the moment Meghan entered the royal spotlight, her mother became an unexpected focal point of media scrutiny and palace intrigue. While many admired Doria's grace and quiet strength, behind the scenes her presence revealed deeper tensions within the royal family. Could her cultural background and quiet defiance have challenged the monarchy's traditions in ways we never imagined? Did this dynamic play a role in the growing divide between Prince William and Prince Harry? And how did these events shape the royal family's modern evolution? Let's get into details. Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother, entered this royal narrative as a beacon of quiet dignity. A yoga instructor and social worker, she radiated warmth and authenticity during public appearances, such as Meghan and Harry's wedding. But in a family rooted in centuries-old customs, her presence, though celebrated by many, highlighted a cultural contrast that was difficult for some within the royal fold to navigate. Doria's reserved demeanor and grace were a stark contrast to the louder, more traditional displays often associated with royal gatherings. From the outset, Prince William appeared to regard Meghan's rapid integration into the family with measured caution. As an heir to the throne, William has long carried the weight of preserving the monarchy's traditions and public image. While his protective stance might have seemed natural, it gradually became evident that his apprehensions extended beyond Meghan alone. Questions linger about how Doria's presence and, by extension, Meghan's background aligned with the monarchy's storied image. This subtle tension didn't arise from overt actions, but rather from the unspoken rules that govern the royal family's interactions. In private, the first meetings between Doria and key members of the royal family were polite, yet tinged with an unspoken cultural distance. The media, ever eager to amplify royal narratives, added its own layer of scrutiny. Stories began to circulate, painting Doria as a calm and grounding influence in Meghan's life, yet speculating about how her heritage and demeanor fit into the royal fold. The racial undertones in some coverage were impossible to ignore, sparking debates about the monarchy's inclusivity in an increasingly diverse world. While Harry seemed eager to bridge the gap, embracing Meghan and Doria's uniqueness as assets to the family's modernization, William's approach remained markedly different. Sources close to the palace suggested that William's concerns stemmed from a desire to protect the institution from perceived threats to its legacy. To him, the monarchy represented stability, and anything that challenged its carefully curated image was met with resistance. This cautious approach soon manifested in ways that strained his relationship with Harry and created a ripple effect across the family. Meghan, used to navigating high-profile situations in Hollywood, was unprepared for the rigid expectations that came with being part of the British royal family. Her every move was dissected by the media, and Doria, too, found herself pulled into the vortex of scrutiny. The contrast between Meghan's life in America and the rigid hierarchy of British aristocracy became more pronounced. William, aware of the media frenzy surrounding Meghan, reportedly urged Harry to consider the long-term implications of their relationship. This protective instinct, however, was perceived by Harry as unwarranted interference. The cracks between the brothers began to widen. Harry's unwavering support for Meghan and Doria clashed with William's cautious and more traditional stance. Public appearances, once filled with camaraderie, now seemed strained. The media, quick to exploit family discord, fueled speculation about the growing divide. Yet the true tension lay not just in their differing perspectives on Meghan, but also in how Doria's presence symbolized a shift in royal dynamics. Doria's composure during these times became a testament to her strength. She remained supportive of Meghan and Harry, even as whispers about her appropriateness within the royal family swirled. For Meghan, Doria was not just her mother, but also a symbol of resilience, a constant amidst the turbulence of royal life. The bond between mother and daughter became a quiet rebellion against the forces trying to undermine Meghan's place in the royal family. As William continued to prioritize the monarchy's traditions, his approach often clashed with Harry's desire for inclusivity and change. While the brothers had always been close, their diverging paths now seemed irreconcilable. The question lingered: could the monarchy truly modernize while holding on to its deeply entrenched customs? For William, the answer lay in maintaining control over the family's public image. even if it meant creating boundaries that Harry found difficult to accept. Through these undercurrents, Doria's role took on greater significance. She was both an outsider and an integral part of the narrative, her quiet presence challenging stereotypes and assumptions. Yet, as the royal family grappled with this cultural integration, the tension between William and Harry only deepened. The brothers' once unbreakable bond began to fracture, setting the stage for a series of events that would redefine the royal family's modern history. The growing tension between Prince William and Prince Harry was not merely a matter of differing perspectives, but a reflection of deeper issues rooted in their individual roles within the royal family. As the heir, William had always carried the burden of upholding tradition, ensuring the stability of the monarchy and protecting its image. Harry, in contrast, had more freedom to forge his own path, but this came with its challenges, especially when his choices clashed with the expectations of royal life. Meghan Markle's arrival amplified these differences, introducing new dynamics that neither brother was entirely prepared for. From the beginning, Meghan's presence highlighted the evolving nature of the monarchy. Her mixed-race heritage, outspoken personality, and career as an actress stood in stark contrast to the traditional image of a royal spouse. While Harry embraced these differences as a step toward modernization, William viewed them with caution. His concerns, while never publicly confirmed, were speculated to be tied to the potential impact on the royal family's reputation. Privately, William questioned whether Meghan fully understood the gravity of the life she was entering, a question he extended to her family's integration as well. The focus on Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother, became another point of divergence between the brothers. Doria was seen by many as a symbol of grace and dignity, her composed presence offering a sharp contrast to the drama often surrounding royal affairs. Yet, her reserved nature and unfamiliarity with royal protocols reportedly raised questions within the family. While no public allegations were made against her, there was a sense that Doria's quiet demeanor and limited involvement in royal events left room for speculation. These unspoken concerns, magnified by media narratives, added fuel to an already tense situation. The jewelry controversy became one of the more visible manifestations of this tension. Princess Diana's jewelry collection held immense sentimental value for both brothers, representing a tangible connection to their late mother. Historically, the royal family had used these heirlooms to symbolize unity and continuity. However, when Meghan's access to these pieces was reportedly restricted, it became clear that unity was not the prevailing sentiment. The decision, which was said to involve both William and the Queen, sparked speculation about whether it was motivated by protocol, personal reservations, or both. For Harry, the restriction was more than a denial of tradition. It felt like an attack on Meghan's place within the family. He saw it as a symbolic act that reinforced the divide between his wife and the institution he had grown up in. William, on the other hand, viewed it as a necessary measure to uphold the sanctity of royal heirlooms, ensuring that their use was aligned with tradition and respect. This difference in perspective underscored the growing chasm between the brothers, as personal relationships became entangled with institutional expectations. The media's role in amplifying these events cannot be understated. Stories about the jewelry ban quickly gained traction, with tabloids speculating on the reasons behind it and drawing parallels to broader tensions within the family. The racial and cultural undertones in some of this coverage added a layer of complexity, turning what might have been an internal matter into a public debate about inclusivity and tradition. Meghan, already under intense scrutiny, found herself at the center of yet another controversy, her every action dissected by a press eager to sell headlines. Doria Ragland, despite her limited public presence, was inevitably drawn into this narrative. As Meghan's closest family member, she became a proxy for larger discussions about race, class, and cultural integration within the royal family. Yet Doria remained steadfast, her composure serving as a silent rebuke to the chaos swirling around her. For Meghan, her mother's unwavering support was a source of strength, a reminder of the resilience that had carried them through so many challenges before. The strain within the family, however, was becoming increasingly evident. Public appearances involving William, Harry, Meghan, and Catherine were marked by a noticeable stiffness. a far cry from the camaraderie they once shared. The brothers, who had once stood shoulder to shoulder in their grief over Diana's loss, now seemed worlds apart. The weight of their positions, coupled with the growing rift between their spouses, made reconciliation seem increasingly unlikely. For William, the tension was not just about Meghan or Doria. It was about the larger question of how the monarchy could maintain its relevance in a rapidly changing world. As future king, he felt an acute responsibility to preserve the institution's integrity, even if it meant making difficult decisions. Harry, on the other hand, believed that adaptation and inclusivity were essential for the monarchy's survival. This fundamental difference in vision turned what might have been a personal disagreement into a clash of ideologies, with Meghan and Doria caught in the middle. As the months went on, the divide between the brothers deepened. What began as subtle disagreements over tradition and protocol grew into full-blown conflicts, with both sides feeling misunderstood and unsupported. For Meghan and Harry, the pressure became unbearable, leading them to make decisions that would ultimately reshape the royal family's modern history. Yet, through it all, Doria remained a steady presence, her quiet strength a stark contrast to the turmoil around her. The growing public scrutiny surrounding Meghan Markle and Doria Ragland had far-reaching consequences, both inside and outside the palace walls. While the royal family attempted to project an image of unity, behind the scenes tensions were steadily boiling over. The jewelry controversy had left a visible mark, but it was only one aspect of a larger narrative of conflict. For Meghan and Harry, every interaction with the family now felt weighed down by unspoken judgments and an invisible but palpable sense of isolation. Doria, ever the picture of composure, remained on the sidelines, quietly observing as her daughter navigated a world that often seemed stacked against her. Meghan found solace in her mother's presence, her calm demeanor a reminder of the strength she had inherited. But the media's relentless coverage of their every move meant that even Doria, who had largely avoided the limelight, was drawn into the maelstrom. Articles speculated on her role in Meghan's life, often twisting her actions into narratives that served the tabloids' appetite for sensationalism. The press coverage took on an increasingly intrusive tone, with stories aimed at questioning Meghan's suitability as a royal and Doria's place within the monarchy's narrative. Comments about her race, background, and demeanor were thinly veiled attempts to stir controversy. For Meghan, these attacks felt deeply personal, a targeted assault not only on her but on her family as well. Harry, long wary of the press due to his mother's tragic experiences, became even more protective. He saw the parallels between the treatment of his wife and the media's hounding of Princess Diana, and it filled him with a sense of dread. William, however, seemed to approach the situation differently. While he understood Harry's concerns about the press, his focus remained on preserving the monarchy's image. Public perception was paramount, and any action or association that could potentially harm the royal brand had to be managed carefully. This pragmatic approach, while rooted in his role as the future king, often clashed with Harry's more emotional response to the challenges Meghan and Doria faced. For Harry, the monarchy's stoic detachment felt like a betrayal, a failure to protect the people he cared about most. The brothers' strained relationship was mirrored in their public appearances. Events that once showcased their unity were now marked by awkward exchanges and visible discomfort. Meghan, caught in the middle, tried to navigate the delicate balance between respecting royal protocols and staying true to herself. But the growing divide between the brothers made it clear that a reconciliation was unlikely without significant change. The media, ever eager to capitalize on discord, framed the narrative as a battle between modernity and tradition, with Meghan and Doria symbolizing one side and William and Catherine representing the other. As the tension escalated, Meghan and Harry began to explore alternatives to their royal roles. They saw a future where they could carve out a path that allowed them to focus on issues close to their hearts while escaping the suffocating expectations of royal life. For Doria, this potential change offered a glimmer of hope. She had always supported Meghan's ambitions and knew her daughter's strength lay in her ability to connect with people on a personal level. However, stepping away from the royal fold was not a decision to be taken lightly, and it required navigating a minefield of traditions, expectations, and public opinion. The announcement of Meghan and Harry's intention to step back from their royal duties sent shockwaves through the monarchy. Dubbed Megxit by the media, the decision was met with mixed reactions. Some saw it as a betrayal of the royal family, while others applauded the couple for prioritizing their mental health and personal happiness. Doria, once again, became a silent figure in this narrative. While she refrained from making public statements, her presence during this time spoke volumes. Meghan and Harry leaned on her for support as they prepared to redefine their roles and reshape their lives. William, meanwhile, reportedly saw the decision as a direct challenge to the monarchy's stability. To him, the departure of his brother and sister-in-law represented a breach in the family's united front, a cornerstone of the institution's enduring appeal. The royal family, accustomed to handling internal conflicts privately, now found itself at the center of a public spectacle. For William, the task of maintaining the monarchy's integrity became even more critical, further straining his relationship with Harry. As Meghan and Harry transitioned to their new roles, they faced fresh challenges. The media's fascination with their lives showed no signs of waning, and every decision they made was scrutinized. However, Doria's influence during this period remained steady. Her quiet presence provided a sense of normalcy in an otherwise turbulent time. For Meghan, her mother's unwavering support served as a reminder of the values she had always held dear: authenticity, resilience, and compassion. The brothers' relationship, however, continued to deteriorate. Harry's departure from royal duties created a physical and emotional distance that seemed insurmountable. While both men expressed a desire for reconciliation, their differing perspectives on duty and family loyalty made it difficult to find common ground. William, deeply rooted in tradition, saw Harry's departure as a rejection of the very values they had been raised to uphold. Harry, on the other hand, believed his decision was necessary to protect his family and mental well-being. Doria's role in these events, while understated, was pivotal. She represented the strength and support Meghan needed to navigate this challenging chapter. Her presence was a quiet defiance of the forces that sought to undermine her daughter's place in the royal family. As Meghan and Harry began to build their new lives away from the palace, Doria remained a cornerstone of their inner circle, a symbol of stability in an otherwise uncertain world. While the decision to step back from royal duties marked the beginning of a new chapter for Meghan and Harry, it also solidified the divide within the royal family. The questions raised during this period about tradition, modernity, and the role of the monarchy in an evolving society would continue to shape their story for years to come. And at the heart of it all, Doria Ragland remained a quiet but powerful presence, her influence woven into the narrative of a family redefining its place in history. The decision by Meghan and Harry to step back from royal duties was a turning point not just for them, but for the entire monarchy. As they transitioned into a new life, the ripple effects of their departure began to reveal themselves in the relationships they left behind. The distance, both physical and emotional, between Harry and William became more pronounced. What had once been a brotherly bond forged in the shared pain of losing their mother now seemed irreparably fractured. The monarchy, an institution known for its carefully curated image of unity, was now facing questions about its ability to adapt to the modern world. Doria Ragland, meanwhile, became an anchor for Meghan and Harry during this time of transition. Her quiet resilience was a stark contrast to the chaos swirling around the couple. While Doria rarely spoke publicly, her presence at key moments underscored her unwavering support. For Meghan, her mother's wisdom and calm demeanor were invaluable as she navigated the challenges of building a new life away from the palace. Harry, too, found comfort in Doria's grounded nature, which offered a sense of stability amidst the upheaval. Back in the UK, the royal family faced growing pressure to address the implications of Harry and Meghan's departure. For William, this was more than a personal matter. It was a test of the monarchy's ability to withstand change. As the future king, William felt a profound responsibility to preserve the institution's traditions and ensure its longevity. However, his approach often clashed with Harry's desire for independence and modernization. The brothers' opposing views became a focal point for public debate, with many questioning whether their rift reflected a deeper struggle within the monarchy itself. The media, never one to shy away from royal drama, capitalized on this narrative. Stories about the brothers' strained relationship and the fallout from Megxit dominated headlines. Speculation about the causes of their rift ranged from disagreements over Meghan's role in the family to long-standing tensions rooted in their different responsibilities. While much of this coverage was sensationalized, it highlighted the challenges of maintaining a united front in the face of public scrutiny. For William, the media's portrayal of the monarchy as divided was a source of frustration, as it undermined the stability he worked so hard to uphold. Meghan and Harry, on the other hand, began to embrace their newfound freedom. They launched initiatives that reflected their passions, from mental health advocacy to environmental causes. These efforts were met with mixed reactions, with some praising their independence and others accusing them of leveraging their royal connections for personal gain. Through it all, Doria remained a steady presence, offering guidance and support as the couple carved out their path. Her influence was particularly evident in the way Meghan approached her philanthropic work, emphasizing authenticity and meaningful impact. The couple's decision to speak openly about their experiences further deepened the divide with the royal family. Interviews and public statements revealed the extent of the challenges they faced, from feelings of isolation to perceived biases within the institution. While these revelations resonated with many, they also sparked criticism from those who felt the couple should have resolved their issues privately. For William, these public disclosures were seen as a breach of the family's unspoken code of silence, a betrayal that further strained his relationship with Harry. Doria's role during this period was often understated but deeply impactful. As Meghan and Harry faced criticism, she provided a counterbalance to the negativity, reminding them of the values that had guided them through their lives. Her influence was most evident in Meghan's determination to stay true to herself despite the challenges. This resolve became a defining characteristic of their journey, as they sought to navigate a life that balanced public responsibilities with personal fulfillment. The impact of these events on the royal family was undeniable. William, increasingly seen as the face of the monarchy's future, found himself under greater scrutiny. His every action was analyzed for signs of how he would lead as king, with many questioning whether he could reconcile the demands of tradition with the need for modernization. The narrative of a family divided began to overshadow the monarchy's broader mission, creating challenges for an institution that relies on its image of stability. For Harry, the decision to leave royal life was both liberating and bittersweet. While he found freedom in charting his own course, the distance from his family weighed heavily on him. The memories of growing up alongside William, sharing laughter and support, were now tinged with regret over how things had turned out. Meghan, too, felt the loss of connection, despite the challenges she faced within the family. For both of them, building a new life meant finding ways to honor the past while embracing the future. As the years passed, the legacy of their decision became clearer. The royal family, while still revered by many, faced ongoing questions about its ability to evolve. William's role as the future king continued to grow in prominence, but the shadow of his fractured relationship with Harry remained. For Meghan and Harry, their journey was a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of staying true to one's values, even in the face of adversity. Doria Ragland's quiet strength remained a constant throughout this period. While much of the attention was focused on Meghan and Harry, Doria's influence was woven into the fabric of their story. Her ability to remain composed and supportive in the face of intense scrutiny served as a reminder of the importance of family, no matter the circumstances. For Meghan, her mother's presence was a source of inspiration, a symbol of the enduring bond that connected them even as they forged new paths. The royal family's story, like any family's, is one of love, conflict, and resilience. The events surrounding Meghan, Harry, and Doria highlighted the complexities of balancing personal desires with institutional expectations. As the dust settled, the questions raised during this period continued to resonate. How does an ancient institution like the monarchy adapt to a changing world? And what does it mean to stay true to oneself within the constraints of tradition? These questions, while not easily answered, defined a chapter in royal history that will be remembered for its impact on the family and the institution as a whole. As the dust began to settle around Meghan and Harry's departure from royal life, the echoes of their decision reverberated across the monarchy. Their new chapter in California symbolized a stark departure from the rigid traditions they had left behind, but it also came with its challenges. Away from the constraints of royal protocols, they had the opportunity to redefine themselves and their public roles. Yet the complexities of leaving the monarchy, an institution intertwined with their identities, proved more difficult to shed than they had anticipated. For Harry, the adjustment was particularly bittersweet. He had grown up in the shadow of the crown, with every aspect of his life shaped by his royal lineage. The decision to step away while liberating carried an emotional weight that was impossible to ignore. The distance from his brother, once his closest confidant, was a constant reminder of what had been lost. Harry's attempts to reconcile his new life with his past often surfaced in interviews and public statements, where his candor about the difficulties of royal life drew both sympathy and criticism. Meghan, too, faced the challenge of redefining her role. In stepping away from the royal family, she hoped to carve out a space where she could thrive as an individual, free from the relentless scrutiny that had marked her time as a duchess. Doria Ragland, ever supportive, stood by her daughter as she navigated this new phase. Her steady presence was a source of grounding, offering Meghan and Harry a sense of continuity as they embarked on their journey of independence. For Meghan, her mother's quiet strength was a reminder of the resilience she carried within herself, a trait that would be crucial as she faced the road ahead. Back in the UK, the royal family grappled with the long-term implications of Meghan and Harry's departure. The institution, accustomed to managing its challenges privately, now found itself under intense public scrutiny. For William, the situation was particularly challenging. As the future king, he bore the weight of ensuring the monarchy's stability, while also addressing the fractures within his own family. The pressure to reconcile the public's perception of the monarchy with its internal realities created a delicate balancing act that left little room for error. William's relationship with Harry remained strained, though not entirely broken. Reports of private conversations between the brothers surfaced occasionally, hinting at attempts to mend their bond. However, the underlying differences that had driven them apart, duty versus independence, tradition versus change, remained unresolved. Their interactions, while civil, lacked the warmth and camaraderie that had once defined their relationship. For William, the monarchy's future was paramount, and any efforts at reconciliation had to align with his responsibilities as the future king. The media's role in shaping the narrative continued to be a point of contention. Meghan and Harry's high-profile interviews and public appearances were often framed as counterpoints to the royal family's traditional approach to communication. Critics accused them of using their platform to overshadow the institution, while supporters argued that their openness was a necessary step toward accountability and transparency. For Doria, the focus remained on supporting Meghan through these challenges, encouraging her to stay true to her values despite the noise surrounding them. As Meghan and Harry began to establish their independent projects, they sought to channel their experiences into meaningful work. From mental health initiatives to environmental advocacy, their efforts reflected their shared vision of creating positive change. Doria's influence was evident in Meghan's approach to these endeavors, emphasizing empathy, compassion, and authenticity. Harry, too, drew on his personal experiences to connect with others, using his platform to address issues close to his heart. The royal family, meanwhile, continued to evolve in its own way. William and Catherine took on an increasingly prominent role, positioning themselves as the faces of a modern monarchy. Their focus on mental health, education, and environmental issues signaled a willingness to address contemporary concerns while maintaining the traditions that defined the institution. However, the absence of Harry and Meghan left a noticeable gap, one that highlighted the challenges of balancing innovation with continuity. Despite the distance, the bond between Harry and William was not entirely lost. Moments of shared grief, such as the unveiling of a statue honoring Princess Diana, served as reminders of the deep connection they once shared. While these occasions were rare, they offered glimpses of hope that reconciliation, however difficult, might one day be possible. For both brothers, the legacy of their mother remained a unifying thread, even as their paths diverged. Doria Ragland's role throughout this journey was one of quiet resilience. She remained a steadfast presence, offering guidance and support without drawing attention to herself. Her influence on Meghan was evident in the way Meghan approached her challenges with dignity, strength, and an unwavering commitment to her principles. For Harry, Doria represented the values he had come to admire in Meghan: authenticity, compassion, and a deep sense of purpose. As time passed, the story of Meghan, Harry, and their departure from royal life became a defining chapter in the history of the monarchy. It was a story of love and resilience, but also one of conflict and change. The questions raised during this period about race, tradition, and the evolving role of the monarchy would continue to shape the institution for years to come. For Meghan and Harry, their journey was a testament to the power of forging one's own path, even in the face of immense challenges. For the royal family, it was a reminder of the complexities of balancing personal relationships with institutional responsibilities. As the monarchy moved forward, it carried with it the lessons of this tumultuous period, a recognition that change, while difficult, is often necessary for growth. And through it all, the quiet strength of individuals like Doria Ragland served as a testament to the enduring power of love and support in navigating life's most challenging moments. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.